Hello tanks and tankettes, and welcome back to World of Tanks and a view replay courtesy of Sergeant Frosty here, who I think I've had on the channel at least once before. There was a Bat Chat 25 AP game of his a couple of months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, something like that. He's no stranger to autoloaders, is I guess what we can infer from that massive sample size of one other game. Yes, I'd be a great scientist. This time round he's in the T57 Heavy, and it is an assault game, which is something I forgot last time that we had an assault game on the channel. I can't think why I managed to forget the name of the assault game mode, but there it is. And he's actually on the defending team this time as well. So on Erlenberg, my vague memories of playing assault on Erlenberg when defending are that you basically try and defend heavily on one side and then put yourself in a position where you can defend the cap if they're pushing from the other. But I don't play assault mode myself, so don't take my word for it. There are more competent people out there that probably have a better idea of what to do on the various maps. So he's positioning himself initially to stay reasonably hull down if the enemy team are pushing along this side, which it looks like they are. But there is artillery, and he is one of the very few tier 10s in this matchup, so he is a natural focus for artillery, and that might be a bit painful for him. But of course, as ever with Artie, it's all in the hands of RNGesus. I'm hoping, by the way, that there are some good NA 918 replays that pop up on my portal somewhat soon, because I've played a little on NA myself, but my selection of tanks on my NA account is very limited, so I'll be interested to see what other people have been making of the new matchmaking and the new artillery and the new light tanks, which have been a little controversial. So a lot more of the enemy team has been spotted, and it looks like they've gone very heavily on this side, and Frosty decides to pull back to a slightly more defensible position. Now he could join his allies, and it might be he's just thinking of positioning himself to run away entirely, but I think what he's doing here is trying to cover this low position, and clumping up with his allies has the added disadvantage of, well, it's a nice big target for artillery. Now they've just lost one tank outright to the FE3805. The Scorpion just got completely one-shotted, which is not very nice, and as you can see, yes, some of them are pushing around the low side, so with the TVP out of the way, he's got enough time to back up to a position where he can reload and not have his hull exposed. But as for his allies, yeah, they are being very seriously pushed on at this point, so this is looking a bit dicey, more than a bit dicey. So he's behind a bush while he's reloading, and any second now he's actually going to have his clip back, which will be good because that's a nice big tasty AMX-30B there. So there's one, and he actually bounces the shot from the AMX-30B. The turret armour on the T57 Heavy is pretty good if they don't aim at the weaker spots. I think around the edges particularly, you can actually bounce a reasonable amount, but if people have time to stop and aim, then it's not nearly so bouncy. But yeah, for those troll bounces, it's quite handy. So a bit of an artillery exchange there. Their own arty fires and misses these two guys, so it's up to Frosty to finish them off. But the enemy arty fires and takes a little bit of... I actually don't think it took any health. I think it just took Frosty's tracks. Or it might not have been that took Frosty's tracks. It might have been one of those enemy tanks. So, doesn't quite finish the lightweights. He's now being rushed by the Scorpion. His allies up to the... down, whatever, to the south. They're being heavily pushed on, but they've actually also resisted this big enemy push. So, aside from an ISU 152, there was just that Scorpion and the lightweight, both of which Frosty has just finished off. So, yeah, that was a bit hectic. And oh, well, there goes the T10. That was a bit hectic, but they weathered it, and I don't think Frosty was expecting to come through that. You would look at the amount of tanks that were pushing against them, and you maybe wouldn't have thought they would survive that either, but no, they have. So the T10 and the KB4 hung on for quite a long time. The tank destroyers didn't last quite so long, but Frosty was in a position to like support the low ground, because if he hadn't been there, they could have basically completely encircled those other tanks on his team. And then we discover one of the last enemy tanks has been there the entire time, so okay. Don't know what they hoped to accomplish back there, but there it is. Frosty gets in one hit, and oh well, he's got one chance to get this kill with the final shot in his clip. And he puts it in the ground. Oh dear, oh well. Okay, so the KV-4 ought to get in, and he does. So that just leaves the enemy arty, but he's nowhere close enough to get in a hit there. So that was a short, completely frenetic game, but considering the action all took place in the space of, what, like 4 minutes? Yeah, 5,431 damage and a steel wall. And you'll see on the team score screen in a moment, of all the tanks that were on this side of the map, it was Frosty doing the lion's share by far. The KV-4's 1800 was not bad. The T10's 868 was fairly bad though. But he still got a better score than the Leopard 1 with 2.6k for some reason. I don't know why. So yeah, it really was Frosty putting out clip after clip of damage that, in retrospect, we can say kind of saved that flank. But the fact that his allies managed to hang on and not just get completely overrun, which would have then left Frosty being overwhelmed, well, yeah, they came at him at just slow enough a pace that he had time to reload his clips, and the fact that he was in the 57 Heavy helped a lot as well. You couldn't have done that in a 50B. You might have been able to in a Kranwagen, though, in a similar hull-down-ish position. I'm not sure. I can't remember offhand what the clip reload on that thing is like. But anyway, I found that fairly entertaining, and I hope you did too. And if you did, you can hit that like button, you can leave any comments below, you can sub to my channel if you haven't already, and as always, stay tuned for more.